Sometimes the loudest feeling arrives after the street gets quiet. At 11:15 at night, the flower stand on the corner is still open, but it no longer feels open. The red buckets are half empty. A few roses lean sideways in cloudy water. The plastic wrap makes a small cracking sound when the seller gathers what didn't sell. What happens when a day built around love leaves someone standing beside what is left over? This is the quiet contrast of other people's happiness. I'll stay with that feeling for a while, so it can be seen without making it bigger than it is. The quiet contrast is when someone is surrounded by signs of joy, care, and celebration, but their own body is carrying work, tiredness, and a private ache. It can look very ordinary from the outside. A person closing a stand. A hand counting cash. A back bending toward the same crate it has lifted all day. Nothing dramatic is happening. No one is yelling. No one is leaving in a movie scene way. But inside, something keeps pressing. Maybe the day started much earlier, while the city was still pale and cold. The flowers came in wrapped tight, still damp near the stems. There were orders to sort, prices to remember, customers to answer, and the steady pressure of Valentine's Day, where every bouquet seems to carry someone else's hope. By the end, the seller is not just tired. They are surrounded by proof that people are loved, chosen, missed, forgiven, or waited for, while their own shirt is still damp with sweat. One common reason is role pressure that leaves very little room to feel your own life while you are serving everyone else's. When your work is tied to someone else's important moment, your attention keeps moving outward. Is the bouquet pretty enough? Is the ribbon right? Is the customer in a rush? Is the price fair? Is there enough left for the late buyers? So your own feelings wait behind the counter, almost like one more item placed aside until the rush is over. Then, when the street empties, they return all at once, and a familiar job can suddenly feel personal. It can begin quietly when the body stays noisy even after the world goes still. The construction site nearby has finally gone silent, but the ears keep remembering the machines, the metal clank, the scrape of something heavy being moved across concrete. Your hands still sting from stems, tape, twine, and plastic, and your lower back still carries the shape of the whole day. So when the night becomes quiet, it does not feel peaceful right away. It feels like the day has stopped outside, but not inside you. One thing that often sits underneath is the strange ache of watching love move past you as a transaction. People came to the stand with small urgency in their faces, asking for red roses, white lilies, one nicer ribbon, one more card, something that says what they cannot say cleanly. You helped build the language of their feelings, but you may not be part of anyone's waiting plan tonight. So the same flowers that made other people smile can leave a faint heaviness in your chest, not because you resent them, but because closeness is easier to sell than to feel. That is the contradiction. The stand is full of soft things, but the work is hard. The day is about romance, but the seller may feel very alone. The flowers are delicate, but the hands holding them are rough and sore. The customers see color, scent, and meaning. The person behind the stand may see inventory, leftovers, spoiled petals, and the long walk home. It is not bitterness, exactly. It is more like being close to warmth without fully entering it. Like standing near a lit window on a cold street. You can see the light. You can describe it. You can even help someone else carry it home. But you still remain outside for a little while, holding the bucket. And this can affect choices in small ways. The seller might stay a few extra minutes, even after the best flowers are gone, because leaving feels like admitting the day is over. They might arrange the last bouquets again and again, not because it matters much, but because movement keeps the feeling from catching up. They might give a discount to a late customer who forgot the date, and feel a small mix of mercy and tiredness while wrapping the stems. This is how a quiet contrast can hide inside routine. The same action that looks simple at noon starts to feel different at night. Folding paper. Tossing wilted leaves. Lifting buckets into the back corner. Turning off the small light clipped to the pole. These are not big moments. But some feelings arrive through small doors. It's 11:15 at night, and the corner finally has space around it. The flower seller stands beside a blue plastic bucket, peeling tape from one last bundle of roses, while dust from the construction site still sits on the curb. Their hands feel raw, and there is a tiredness in the lower back that makes every small bend feel personal. Across the street, someone walks by holding a bouquet close to their chest, smiling at a message on their phone, and for 1 second the seller looks down at the flowers left behind. The feeling is not anger. It is more like a quiet drop inside the body, a small thought that says, I spent all day helping love move through the city, and I'm going home with the smell of stems on my hands. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. Sometimes the heart notices the contrast only when the work is almost done. There may be a small way to meet that moment without turning it into a whole story about your life. You can let the body arrive before the meaning does. Maybe that looks like placing the bucket down, uncurling the fingers, letting the shoulders drop, and noticing one plain fact: this is tiredness, and this was a long day. When the body has been working for hours, the mind can make the ache sound larger than it is. A small pause can give the feeling a little shape, so it does not become the whole night. You can also separate what the flowers meant to other people from what they prove about you. A bouquet passing from one hand to another says something about their moment, not the full story of your worth, your timing, or your place in the world. Maybe you keep one imperfect stem aside, not as a grand symbol, just as a quiet record of the day. This was the flower that remained, and I remained too. That kind of small object can make the night feel less like an ending and more like a witness. It may not make the loneliness disappear, but it can keep it from speaking for everything. And there's something else here that can be easy to miss. Sometimes a familiar place becomes heavy because it finally gets quiet enough to tell the truth. During the rush, the seller is useful. Needed by customers, asked for by strangers, paid in small bills, trusted with fragile things. Usefulness can feel steady for a while. It gives the day a clear shape. But when the rush ends, usefulness does not always turn into comfort. Sometimes it leaves behind a question that is hard to say out loud: who notices the person who helped everyone else be noticed? That question can appear in many lives, not just at a flower stand. It can show up for the person cleaning a restaurant after couples leave their tables. It can show up for the driver taking people home from parties. It can show up for the worker restocking shelves after holiday shoppers leave with gifts. The setting changes, but the feeling is similar: being part of other people's meaningful moments while your own life feels paused in the background. For a lot of people, this is where the ache becomes confusing. They are not ungrateful. They may even like the work. There may be pride in knowing how to choose a good rose, how to cut stems at the right angle, how to wrap something neatly when the buyer only has a few dollars. But pride and loneliness can stand side by side. A person can be skilled and still feel unseen. A person can be busy and still feel empty when the noise fades. So if that flower stand at the end of Valentine's Day stays in your mind, maybe it is because it holds a feeling many people carry quietly. The feeling of doing a familiar thing while something inside is no longer calm. The feeling of being close to love as a worker, a helper, a witness, but not as the person being reached for. This is for people who keep the soft parts of the world moving while their own hands are tired. The last bouquet does not explain the whole life. The quiet street does not decide what the heart is worth. It is only a small moment at 11:15, under a tired light, where the body tells the truth softly: today was beautiful for many people, and heavy for me.